Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our January Tax and Compliance Masterclass. I'm Ilana Stein, the Managing Director of Company Partners, and I will be your host for today's session. We are compliance specialists, experts in CIPC, SARS, COID, and other key regulatory areas that affect South African businesses every day. Our mission is simple: to help entrepreneurs and SMEs stay compliant so that they can grow in confidence. And that's exactly what today's session is all about. One of the biggest risks we see every year is that companies miss the ITR14 corporate tax return deadline. So for many SMEs, this doesn't happen because they don't care about the compliance. It happens because either the financial statements are delayed or the operations take over, and the tax is actually pushed to the bottom of the list. The problem is that SARS doesn't push it to the bottom of their list. So today's session, we will unpack the ITR14 company tax return. We're going to look at what you need to check in your business or your company to stay up to date, what you can do if you discover your tax or your accounting backlogs as you move towards this February 2026 ITR14 deadline, or your goal, or our goal is to give you a clear and practical steps as to how you can act before SARS actually does. So joining me today is Michelle, one of our expert business consultants at Company Partners. Michelle works closely with the South African SMEs to align their tax, their compliance, and their financial management. She has helped many businesses navigate their outstanding ITR14 returns, their SARS notices, and the complex tax backlogs, turning uncertain tax positions into clear, actionable steps. We're also joined by Stefan, our expert accounting advisor at Company Partners. Stefan specializes in helping South African businesses manage their accounting, meet their tax obligations, and resolve the tax backlogs and maintain their full tax compliancy throughout the year. He will also be joining us during the live question and answer section to answer more of the detailed questions about accounting, the backlogs, and the monthly maintenance. So what you will learn today is what the ITR14 company tax return is and who must submit it. We're also going to look at how to check if your company is behind on these ITR14 submissions, what is missing, the February 2026 deadline, what it means around the penalties and the legal risk, how to start fixing your tax and accounting backlogs step by step, and how a free tax and accounting backlog review can help you get and stay compliant. So just an important disclaimer, please note that this session is not a formal legal tax or financial advice. Our goal today is simply to help SMEs understand the company tax and ITR14 compliance requirements every business needs to meet, and to share the insights we've gained by assisting thousands of South African companies with their SARS, their accounting, and the broader compliance obligations. So just a quick section on the questions and answers before I'm going to hand over. If you have any questions during this session, please post them in the question and answer session or section. We will be answering as many as we can after Michelle's presentation. And with that, it is my pleasure to hand you over to Michelle. Thank you.
Thanks, Ilana, and hi, everyone. I want to start off with a very honest reality. Most South African SMEs don't wake up thinking about IT14 returns. You wake up thinking about cash flow, staff, clients, load shedding, fuel, rent, and SARS is somewhere near the bottom of that list. From the work we do at Company Partners, we see the same pattern over and over. The company was registered with good intentions. For a year or two, accounting was sort of handled. Then something slipped, a year-end wasn't finalized, and IT14 wasn't submitted. Maybe an accounting change, and suddenly there are gaps. SARS keeps sending emails and SMSs that don't feel urgent until they do. Today's session is about closing those gaps before SARS closes them for you. By the end of this session, I want you to understand IT14 in simple terms, not tax jargon. Know the exact signals that says your company is at risk. See yourself in one of a few typical SME scenarios and know what to do next before the Feb 2026 deadline. What IT14 really is and why SMEs misunderstand this. Let's put ITR14 in simple language. An ITR14, previously known as IT14, is your company's annual income tax return. It is based on your financial statements for the year. It tells SARS here's what the company earned, spent, and owes in tax. Where SMEs often get stuck is they confuse the provisional tax, which is your IRP6, with an IT14, and they think they're up to date because the provisional tax was paid. Or they assume my accountant is handling it, but they've never actually checked if all the years are submitted and reflecting up to date on eFiling. Or the company is dormant, so the owner believes nothing is due, but SARS still expects correct returns or proper treatment of that dormant status. So the first big mind shift is this. If your company exists at SARS, the IT14 exists as a responsibility. Even if your tax is zero, SARS still expects a correct on-time submission. How to know if you're in trouble? These are practical SARS signals. Now let's get very practical. How do you know if your company is at risk? Here are real signs we see with clients every week. One, SARS messages you, you just keep ignoring them. Things like returns are outstanding, an estimated assessment has been issued, or final demand. Or e-filing red flags. When you log in to your profile or your accountant does, you see red exclamation marks or return overdue next to the company's income tax. You see estimated assessments. So this is SARS deciding amounts for you instead of properly submitted returns. Cash flow surprises. You suddenly get a demand for tax you didn't expect, or your provisional doesn't line up with actual profits because the returns were never finalized. Business friction. A bank, tender, funder, or partner asks for proof that your returns are up to date, and you struggle to obtain tax clearance via SARS. If any of these feel familiar, your issue is no longer just admin. It is a compliance risk that can grow more expensive every month you just leave it. The cost of missing the Feb 2026 IT14 deadline. Let's talk about if you do nothing now and slide into Feb 2026 with IT14 returns still outstanding. We see many businesses face this issue. You wait till the last minute, struggling to get all your paperwork and books in order, and you miss the 27 Feb deadline. What can follow? Penalties and interest. The SARS adds penalties and interest to late or unpaid tax. Even if the original tax amount was manageable, the add-ons can become painful over time. Estimated assessments. If you don't submit, SARS may estimate, and those estimations are often not in your favor. You then have to go through extra steps to correct them, harder conversations with SARS later. The longer things remain outstanding, the more you need to explain and fix, often under pressure and with fewer options. The business impact. Applications for funding, tenders, or contracts will increasingly expect proof that your tax is up to date. Directors carry the stress and, in some cases, personal risk for ongoing non-compliance. So this isn't just about avoiding a fine, it's about protecting your ability to grow, to be funded, and to be taken seriously as a South African business. The three SME profiles we see, which one are you? From my experience at company partners, most SMEs dealing with IT14 issues fall into three groups. See which one sounds like you. Profile number one. I think we're fine, but I don't actually know. You've got an accountant, things seem to be under control, but you haven't seen a simple list of years with submitted, not submitted in a long time. The risk. Hidden issues you only find out when SARS escalates or starts asking questions. Your next step. Request your tax compliance status PIN from your accountant, which will show you your tax compliance status. Profile number 2. We're behind and we know it. You know that there are 1 to 3 years where financials or returns aren't done. You're receiving SARS messages, but you're avoiding them. The risk. Penalties and interest are already growing and often an option shrink with time. Your next step. Get professional help to set up a backlog plan year by year with timelines. Then discuss your options for ongoing accounting and tax returns to ensure your company stays compliant going forward. Profile number 3. We're in a mess. Several years of incomplete accounting, different accountings over time, no clear handover. You're scared to log on to eFiling. The risk. This feels overwhelming. So it keeps being delayed and the cost grows quietly in the background. Your next step. Accept that this is now a project, not a quick fix. You need a specialized team and a phased plan, clean accounting, financials, IT14 submissions with maintenance. Turning this into a 2026 action plan, not just good intentions. Let's make this very practical and time-bound. Here's a simple action plan you can follow between now and Feb 2026 IT14 deadline. Step 1, get visibility. This would be in week 1. Confirm your financial year end. Get a per year list of financials done, not done, IT14 submitted or outstanding. Identify any SARS estimated assessments or final demands. Step 2, fix the foundation. This would be week 2 to 4. Prioritize high risk years, old ones and those with SARS activity. Get the accounting corrected and financial statements finalized. Prepare and submit accurate IT14s for those years. Step 3, put maintenance in place. This would be an ongoing step. Once backlogs are under control, move on to a monthly accounting package. Set a rule. No year-end closes without a clear IT14 submission date attached. This is exactly the kind of structure we create in a tax and accounting backlog review. We move you from "I'm not sure" to a written roadmap you can actually follow. At Company Partners, our role is to make this easier and faster for you. We typically support SMEs in 3 stages. 1, you get a free tax and accounting backlog review. We look at your SARS status, financial years, and existing submissions. You get a clear picture of what's outstanding and what's urgent. Step 2, backlog cleanup. We help with the accounting catch-up, finalize financial statements, and ensure the IT14 returns are correctly submitted. Step 3, monthly and accounting compliance maintenance. So you don't end up in the same position in 27, 2028, and beyond. If this sounds like something you need, that's exactly what the free review is for. It's the stepping stone between "I'm overwhelmed" and "I have a plan." Ilana, I think this is a great time to bring in questions and also to bring Stefan into the conversation, especially for those who want to understand how the backlog and monthly accounting side works more in detail.
Thank you so much, Michelle. That was incredibly helpful and practical. So we're now going to move over to the live question and answer session with Stefan. If you haven't done so yet, please drop your question in our question and answer box. You can ask about your ITR14 obligations, what to do if you've received a SARS tax notice or maybe estimates, how to approach a large backlog, as Michelle has mentioned, how the free tax and accounting backlog review works in practice, and we'll answer as many questions as we can in this time that we've got left. Stefan, over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Ilona. I appreciate the opportunity. Any questions coming up?
Stefan, perhaps you can just go ahead with some scenarios and questions that you deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the biggest one is people are aware. They know that their accounting is not up to date, but they're receiving no communication from their accountants. I think that should be your biggest red flag. So if you're sitting in a position where there's limited communication between yourself and your accountant, that should be your first step to either see if you're able to get communication from a certain or your appointed accountant, or perhaps to seek additional support from someone like company partners. That's definitely your biggest thing. You need to be on top of your compliance at all stages. That ensures accurate reporting and yeah, just sets the way going forward. I see that we do have a question. Okay, so the first question, is there a monthly payment for these services, or is it a one-time payment, especially for new companies? Great question. So that's where we, now as company partners, have now offered a custom accounting package. So we look at your entity as a whole, starting with your small SMEs, going up to your bigger entities, and we do a custom package. So it's a monthly package that we offer, because of course your bookkeeping needs to be done on a monthly basis. It includes your income statements, your balance sheets, we do your 3 tax submissions, and as confirmation we provide you with your tax clearance. With our custom set, we look at your amount of business transactions on a monthly basis. We look at stuff like your invoices that you receive from clients and suppliers. And there's a few other factors that we take into consideration. And from there, we then do a custom package catered to your exact needs. So that usually suits the pocket of our smaller guys, the smaller SMEs, that we're able to offer you something at an affordable rate, that you can hand that over to the expert. Because you as a business owner, your biggest asset is your time. So we free up that time for you. You've got someone that supports you in the financial aspect that you. So yes, we do offer that on a monthly basis for your companies that start a trade.
Stefan, I also see a question that says many SMEs only worry about the ITR14s when they want funding or a contract. So how does an ITR14 backlog actually affect funding, tenders, or bank relationships in practice?
Yeah, so of course, with that, your first thing that's going to accompany that is the tax clearance. So if your taxes are not up to date, firstly, your tax clearance is not going to be available. And if you're looking at something like funding, all taxes need to be up to date so that you can obtain your annual financial statements. So the first thing that funders request for, or tenders, they want to see that you've got a tax clearance, that you're in good standing with SARS, and that you've got your annual financial statements. That gives them a summary of what your company's current financial position is, and gives them peace of mind, knowing that this is a reputable company that they can invest in or provide funding to, with peace of mind, knowing that it will go to the correct institution.
Just another question here. A lot of business owners here already have an accountant, but still feel unsure about their ITR14 status. So how should they approach that conversation? And when does it make sense to bring in a team like company partners to assist?
Yeah, so if you feel unsure, that's the cue to ask clearer questions. And if the answers are still not clear, it's often a sign that extra capacity or specialist support is needed. Not that your accountant is not doing anything wrong. That's where we step in and offer you support. Not to replace your existing accountant, but we can if needed.
Isha, here's one for you. If you had to give SMEs a red flag checklist. 3 quick signs that they should take immediate action before February 2026 deadline. What would those be?
So the red flags that you'll see in eFiling would definitely be an estimated assessment or return due or final demand. That's exactly when company partners comes into play. You can then contact us and indicate, I've received this from SARS, can you assist? That's definitely how we help. We can then log into your eFiling, give you clear, actionable steps on how to fix that.
I see we have some additional questions. So what can you do if you forget the month that you're supposed to do your tax return? So there's always that part of your backlog. So we want to catch that up as quickly as possible. Because if you go over the tax month, SARS will occur penalties for late submissions. And there's compound interest that will be added. So we want to ensure that we attend to that years, and will only start operating this year. How will I about submitting my taxes for these dormant years? So a lot of people are not aware that even so you want to ensure that this is done on an annual basis. It's a R0 submission done through to SARS, just to advise them that the company is not yet trading. So you'll have a dormant backlog that will need to be caught up. R0 submission submitted through to SARS, and then once that is caught up, they'll provide you with your tax clearance, which is, of course, confirmation that everything is up to date. But I would advise you to get that done rather sooner than later.
I have another question. Michelle, it's for you or for Stefan. Once a company has cleaned up its ITR14 and accounting backlogs, what does good ongoing maintenance look like so that they don't end up in the same position in a few years' time?
Well, monthly bookkeeping delivers accurate financial insight. Consistent monthly bookkeeping ensures accurate reporting on income and expenses, enabling better decision-making and helping your SMEs to stay compliant, profitable, and in control. So it's definitely something that will benefit the company in the long run.
Stefan, I see Morris has got a question for you.
Great, thank you. What's an advantage of having an accountant, and what's the disadvantage of not using an accountant? And how much is an accountant cost to assist your company with operations and returns? So it's always a benefit. You know what you specialize in as a business owner. And like I mentioned earlier, your time is your biggest asset. This is where you want to bring in someone like an accountant that has the years of experience and can show you exactly what to focus on. So you'll have your monthly bookkeeping that's done correctly. And then the additional benefit that we also teach you here at Company Partners, we'll show you how to manage your expenses. Because for startup SMEs, that is crucial in the success of your business. And a lot of people are not aware of the expenses that can be written off against income tax. So we'll show you how to write as much of your company expenses that help you make a turnover against income tax, leaving more capital for growth going forward. So that's the advantage of appointing an accountant. Our packages, it's really difficult because we do it a case by case, but minimum cost, you're looking at about 790 Rand on a monthly basis. And like I said, for the big companies, that can go up to 1,000 or 2 or 3 or 4. It's a bit difficult, but the packages start off at about 790 Rand. Just to give you an idea as to what the packages include. So for your startup company, you'll be looking at something like your income statements, your balance sheets, your 3 tax submissions in August, February, and July. You also then receive your tax clearance as confirmation that everything is up to date. And then, of course, if the entity is VAT registered, we'll be doing VAT submissions every second month. And then for those that want to either do for funding or vehicle financing or anything within the business, we also include your annual financial statements. But yeah, that is then for your more specialized packages. I hope that answers your question.
Stefan, I think now is a fantastic opportunity to tell them about our new initiative, the accounting package quotation calculator that we've just introduced. If you can explain to them how it works, you can get a quote within 5 minutes to give you round about an estimate of what you should be paying.
100%. That's literally at the tip of your finger. So we've got a tax calculator that will give you a rough estimate of what the package will look like that we'll be able to offer you. There you can put input, like I mentioned earlier, your bank transactions. It's going to ask you if you're VAT registered, pay as you earn, a few basic questions, and within a few seconds, you'll have a summary of the package that we'll be able to provide you. And if selected, we can even, as the advisor, give you a call just to discuss that package with you in detail and discuss any questions that you might have or any clarification required regarding this package that you received.
We've almost reached the end, but I want you guys, just in a summary, what is your absolute best advice that you would give to our people today who are visiting and attending? If you have to sum it up, Michelle, what would yours be? Stefan, what would yours be?
So from my side, it would definitely be to go into Feb 2026 knowing your IT14 position, not hoping it's correct, because those penalties, interest, etc., can become very painful.
So my advice would definitely be appoint a professional that knows what they're doing to free up that time for you so that you can focus on the job at hand, but have the peace of mind knowing that you've got a professional in your back pocket that sees your vision and helps you to create what the vision that you want to see for the company within a timely manner.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. I think if I have to give the advice, I'll say rather spend the money on your next vacation than having to pay the penalties with SARS. So Michelle, Stefan, thank you once again for being our host here today, and a big thank you to everybody that has joined and asked the questions. If you have more questions and would like our team to maybe review your situation, simply type the word tax in the chat now and request your free tax and accounting backlog review. And Michelle will contact you within the next 24 hours. She is also able to assist you with any other business compliance assistance that you might need. At Company Partners, we've helped thousands of entrepreneurs navigate their company tax returns, the SARS backlogs, reinstatements, accounting cleanups, and even broader compliance. And our goal is to keep your business active, compliant, and ready for your next opportunity. So thank you once again for spending your time here with us today and for trusting Company Partners as your compliance partner. We look forward to helping you start the new year fully compliant, confident, and ready to grow. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you at the next Compliance Masterclass.